the statement, we're really trying to avoid Satan's jail.
Yeah.
Because if we get into Satan's jail,
right,
we might have to trade number 15. People would think about this differently. They are not trading Nikola Jokic. They are absolutely not. What he was just saying is articulating the fear of Satan's jail. Because if you get into there, you have to do things like considering trading Jaylen Brown, considering the concept of trading Nikola Jokic. I think the more interesting thing that he said, although it won't be recognized at all by the Nuggets fans who are hyperventilating, is that Jokic might not sign a contract extension this summer, that they are going to offer it to him, but that it's possible he may wait on it because he can do better financially by waiting, which is reasonable. But I would say he's may wait on it because he's not happy with where the Nuggets are going, or that he heard that he might get traded.
So let me give you a real life example. I mean, a real illustration, if we can here, A43 of what Satan's jail actually looks like, okay?
It's picking up steam. I love it.
The Windman's got it. The new luxury tax and apron rules have created a great deal of parity in the NBA. That was their goal. It has worked. Look at this. David Stern was the commissioner from 1984 to 2014. That's 30 years. 8 different teams won the championship. Adam Silver, in his tenure, 8 teams have won the championship in 10 years, including 7 different winners in the last 7 years. That is the longest streak of its kind in league history. And it will beg the question, which way is better? Like, I personally think this is the sign of a healthy sports league where everyone has a chance to compete. But we've got fans who are saying, in some cases, this is not me saying it, but I hear it, I miss the super team. It's better with the super team. It's better to have someone to root for, to root against, to hate. They bring all these people bring all these people into the tent and all the rest of that. So, Markeith, I'll ask you, as one who has sort of lived through both of these, which way do you like it better, with or without Satan's jail?
That's a good question, Greeny. I think I'm going to lean towards without Satan's jail. I would like it to be more of like a MLB type of situation, right, where the teams that have the most money, you spend the most money, right? I think the league, fan purposes, you want to have these Goliaths in the league. You want to have these teams where you like, yeah, this is a dynasty and not have to be homegrown. You like the free agency when players move around and the build up for that, right? You like the low level teams being able to knock off the Goliath, the Davis. You know what I mean? I agree with getting rid of Satan's jail and just letting the league be the league.
The Windman, trademark that. Which league is the healthier league? In the big picture,
I think what's happening right now, the league's in a great place. And the league's in a great place because anyone can compete. You see, if you can win a championship in Oklahoma City, if you have a smart general manager and president that understand, roster manager, understand how to put together a team, and then all of a sudden, the key is then retaining that team. Can you retain the best players to continue a dynasty? That, to me, that's the big question. But the way it is right now, everyone's got an opportunity to have a chance to win.
Go ahead, Keith.
But it will be hard to retain the players with the way that the collective bargaining agreement is set up. That's the only thing. It'll be hard for a dynasty other than being a homegrown like Oklahoma City. So you'll have to wait 3, 4, 5, or 6 years for that to happen.
Right. I think the point is, it used to be LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh could all decide, hey, let's play together. We've got ourselves a little bit of a dynasty here. Those days are gone. What I'm asking is, was that better or was this better? That's what I'm getting to.
Well, if you look at what Adam Silver has done from 30,000 feet, he has tried to introduce international soccer, which is what you have with the NBA Cup, and the NFL, which is what you have with the hard cap. If you say hard cap, everybody gets their dukes up and says we're going to go on strike. If you put in 15 different rules and call it the second apron, it's not called the hard cap. But what did Josh Kroenke say? He used the word hard cap. That's essentially what this is doing. And the Celtics, whether you want to call it second apron, whether you want to call it Satan's jail, or you want to give me another name I can use, that's fine. The teams are acting like this is a hard cap, and they're trying to move more towards the NFL, where you see more parity, bottom line.
We'll see if they all lead to a superstar being traded today. We're calling this Flag Day, by the way. We'll see if Cooper is super. LeBron James has chimed in on that, why the King believes the young star is set up for instant success. Plus to the NFL. Will we remember Aaron Rodgers' career more for his successes or for his postseason failures. We'll tell you why the pressure is on in Pittsburgh right now. This is Get Up on day of round one. Oh, Markeith is here as well. Sorry, I didn't mean to miss out on that. The big fella Keith is down in South Florida. But we begin in Boston, where the Celtics continue to ship off parts. They have agreed to trade Kristaps Porzingis to Atlanta, part of a 3-team deal with Brooklyn. The Celtics get George Niang and a second-round pick, but much more important than that, they get significant salary relief. This is all about dumping money. 10 days ago, the Boston Celtics were projected to pay $540 million in salary and luxury tax. According to our Bobby Marks, who has a calculator, with this Porzingis trade and the Drew Holiday trade they made 2 days ago, the Celtics have saved $260 million and will have a combined bill under $300 million. All of those are things that are important to the teams and very uninteresting to basketball fans. They don't want to hear about the money. They want to hear about the teams. We knew that Holiday was going to get traded. You told me that Porzingis was going to get traded. The question is, are they done?
So this is one of the things that could define today in the NBA. Now that they've made these deals, they are under the second apron. That, if that is their goal, congratulations. But they are still listening. And this is where the rest of the league is watching. They are listening on Jaylen Brown. They are listening on Derek White. I would be surprised at this point if they move them, but today is draft day. There are teams in the top 10 that would very much like to get their hands on one of these players. Is there an opportunity for the Celtics to move in and get a player in the draft that they think that they could reform their team around when Jason Tatum comes back? My answer is maybe. Otherwise, they wouldn't be listening. So I think Jaylen Brown is staying put. I think Derek White is staying put, but I can't rule out stuff that might happen by the end of today.
Well, that brings me to my Uncle Seth, because we know Cooper Flagg is off limits. He's not going anywhere, except Dallas, where he will get drafted tonight. Is there, in your opinion, another player in this draft that would be, you think has a chance to be so good that it would make sense for the Celtics to include Jaylen Brown in a package to move up?
If there's one player, it would be Dylan Harper. Dylan Harper at 6'6". You're talking about a guy terrific in ball screens, big physical guard, gets downhill. Reminds me of Cade Cunningham. His physicality, his toughness, his ability to finish around the basket, but more importantly, his ability to make game easy for other people. This guy's got size, strength. He's got a genetics that's all about championships. He has a toughness about him, extremely coachable. Got to shoot a little bit better, but I think that Dylan Harper is a guy that you can say, I would not move off of Brown and White. I wouldn't, because I think those guys are winning players that understand the culture of the Celtics. But if you were going to move on, you need to bring in a guy that understands what it takes to win. And his pedigree says championship pedigree.
It is a time of just total upheaval in Boston. The franchise has been sold. The superstar is out for the year, or for all of next year, we presume, with the torn Achilles. So we're really in a total turnover here. So, Markeith, I'll just ask you this. If at some point today you receive an alert on your phone that says the Boston Celtics have traded Jaylen Brown, what will be the first thoughts that go through your mind?
I would be in awe, right? Because this is a guy that won Finals MVP last year. This is a guy that just signed a $300 million contract, and you put so much into this guy, right, to be a Boston Celtic, right? And just by Tatum getting injured, I don't really see the process of moving him around, right? You just let him get better, like I've been saying. You know, let him grow into a 1A type of player. Let him have the year where he's actually the go-to guy and the team is about him, right? And then the pieces that you bring in, let them pieces mold to be ready when Tatum has come back, because you get a good look at, you know, all the pieces that you bring in, because nobody's most likely going to be under contract the next year, the following year.
Right. There's so much of this is about the money, right? And that's the big unknown. It's new ownership coming in. So there's that kind of overturning, or whatever the word I'm looking for is. So we don't really know. You said it yourself. Did they just want to get under this second apron, which are now the two nastiest words in all of basketball? If so, then they don't have an issue. But if they really want to restart this whole thing, this could be interesting.
They also could make other moves to get under the luxury tax altogether. And it's not just necessarily about saving money, although that's what is being accomplished. If they get out of the luxury tax, then they restart the clock on the repeater tax. And I hate talking about all this stuff, but this, this is what's driving these moves.
Right.
I mean, the second apron needs a new name. I am proposing Satan's jail. I think we should start you're calling it Satan's jail. If you have something else, it feels different. If you say the Celtics are in Satan's jail, it sounds like, wow, they really got to trade Kristaps Porzingis. So get out of Satan's jail, and now you got to question, do they want to stay out of Satan's jail? Because if you have two players on your roster that make $300 million contracts, which is Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, can you field a competitive championship-level team in 2026? I don't know if the answer to that is yes, because of the way the league is changing.
I just don't understand. If you're going to have Tatum and Brown and eventually they're going to be healthy together, you know you've competed for an NBA championship with those two guys. They're only going to get better. I mean, that's just the way it is. You need to say, look at it, say, all right, we're going to take our lumps right now, but that's short term. Where is the big picture? And as a guy that roster construction is so important, whether it's in college or in NBA, you put together a roster, if you can have those two guys as the face of your organization, it's easier to find guys to fit around him than to eliminate one guy that has already won an NBA championship and is a matchup problem and has learned to play with another star player.
And I think you're right, and that's why I think they don't do it. But I would be inaccurate if I said it wasn't something that was being discussed in the league.
Harper is good, though.
Let me tell you who is in Satan's jail right now. The fans of the Denver Nuggets. The Celtics are not the only recent champion being impacted by Satan's jail. Denver Nuggets team president Josh Kroenke brought up a scenario where the Nuggets might trade Nikola Jokic. He did this unprompted yesterday in a press conference. We present I'm Sorry, What?
For us as an organization, going into that second apron is not necessarily something that we're scared of. I think that there are rules around it that we needed to be very careful of with our injury history. The wrong person gets injured and very quickly you're into a scenario where that I never want to have to contemplate, and that's trade number 15. And so, we're very conscious of that pushing forward.
What? I mean, let the record show. No one asked him about the possibility of trading Nikola Jokic. He just went there by himself, which is one of the really astonishing things that has happened recently. I found myself digging deeply into this to say, did someone bring up, listen, if there was any scenario on planet Earth, if like we're being invaded from aliens from Mars, might you consider trailing Nikola Jokic? No one
He is an alien from Mars.
That's what I mean. No one even asked him that question. What the actual heck was that?
And thus ended Josh Kroenke's last media availability for the foreseeable future. And again,